Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins. Just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag. The one you stole from your ex. Or your overpriced half a studio apartment. Or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a vitamin water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band, and sometimes the guy who speaks first trips over his own words. It happens. What are you going to do? My name is Justin, and I'm band curious. We've done all the work for you here, and it's a chance for me to talk to my friends about bands that they love, and a chance for me to learn why they love them and try to love them myself. As I said, my name is Justin, and I believe we're talking about Metz today, and I believe, John, this was on one of those massive lists you gave me, I think. Yeah. So, we're slowly but surely getting to some of those early lists. Talk to me about Metz and why you wanted to talk about them on the show.
Yeah, I think when I first put them up, they only had 3 albums out, and now they've put out, like, 6 or something, and they've broken up. So we've kind of like followed their career, and now we're getting to do this at the right time now that everything's done. But Metz is one of the great bands of the 2010s. They were one of the first ones, I think, to go back to that 90s kind of nostalgia sound. They really, like, you talk about Nirvana as an influence, Helmet, a lot of things like that. When I first heard their the debut record, I was like, this band is gonna save rock and roll. Like the late 2000s, the late aughts, the early 2010s, not a great time for rock music. But when I heard Metz, I was like, these are the saviors. Like they're gonna save heavy music and bring it back. That exactly didn't happen, but I did get to see them on that first album tour at a very small club in Atlanta, and it's an interesting story because I was working and I had to be up at like 4 a.m. to be at work at 5 o'clock. So I go to the show. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this, but they didn't go on, and like opening band goes on at like 11 o'clock. Like then the next opening band goes on at midnight. I'm like, oh, like I can't leave. I have to see them, but I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow. But I stayed, and they went on about 1 o'clock in the morning, and just the energy in the room, like I'll never forget. Like when you see a band sometimes, and you're like, there's like an electricity in the room, and like this club probably held 75 people, 100 people. People were literally bouncing off the walls, like. It was one of the most insane experiences that I've had at a concert in a very long time. And like Metz has that energy where I was like, yeah, this is what it must have been like to see Nirvana in like 1989 or like 1988 when they were first starting. Like they have that element that those great bands had where they can mix the abrasiveness and the chaos and like with the beauty and the melody. Like that's very difficult to do, but Metz as songwriters were able to do that. And like you mix in some of the like the militant like rhythms of like a helmet or something like that. And like even like, you kind of put these threads together like we did Killing Joke a while back. Like you can tie even Metz some of their stuff back to Killing Joke. Like it's part of that lineage that goes through Nirvana and Helmet and those 90s bands into the 21st century. And like they're just incredible. And I've been waiting to talk about them for a long time.
So in my light research that I did right before the show, found out that Metz are a Canadian band, and our recent resident Canadian, Andrew, I don't know if that plays into how you come across Metz, but you talked about some of these same themes that John was talking about before we came on. Metz, what is it about them that brings you to the table today?
I didn't get into them with the first album originally, like when it came out. It's just something that I missed. I was just in a different kind of place, I guess, with the kind of music I was listening to at the time. I didn't end up discovering them until I think around the time the third album came out. But I was just immediately like, I just loved them as soon as I heard them. The first album I heard was the first album. Um, I was kind of starting to get into, as you mentioned, that was around the time I was really getting into Killing Joke. And I was just trying to branch out into more like punk and punk adjacent stuff. Like I wasn't unfamiliar with punk, but I was into a lot of stuff that wasn't really in this kind of end of the spectrum. And I was kind of getting into that stuff at the time. And yeah, like just immediately, like listening to that first album, John said it perfectly. It's like, it was like when you hear Nirvana for the first time. Um, it's just like the whole thing is so pummeling and just hits you in the face. But it's got hooks. Like it's all hooks. Like every single song, it's ugly and it's dissonant and it's like metallic, like not in the way of like being heavy metal, but it's like it's being played in a factory. It's so loud, so catchy. Like yeah, I just and then um I those first three albums when I first discovered them that were out, like I loved all of them. And then when Atlas Vending came out, it was just like a whole new like level to what the band was doing, and that made me love them even more. That's like still to this day, like I listen to Atlas Vending all the time, start to finish. It's so good. And then the Swan Song album. Oh my god, I can't even remember what it's called. Up on Poppy Hill or something,
Yeah.
something Poppy.
Hold on, I got it.
I can't
Up on Gravity
Up
Hill.
on Gravity Hill.
Yeah.
Up on Poppy Hill is a Ghibli movie. Yeah, Up on Gravity Hill. Yeah, and that album, it's just like it's a little more toned down, and you know, the older you get, the more you appreciate those kind of like deviations from something being just like constantly pummeling. And yeah, it was a really great
Yeah.
bookend to their career.
Yeah, he had done a solo project that had come out on Sub Pop a couple of years before that was a little more atmospheric, a little more dreamy, a little more like poppier, and I think they made a conscious decision to like go in more of that direction for that last album.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out. The
Let me
solo
see,
album.
let me find out what it's called, because Weird Nightmare, that's what it was. Yeah,
Okay.
Alex from Metz had a thing called Weird Nightmare, and it got a lot of it. It was just intended to be, I think, like this little thing, but it ended up getting a lot of traction. Like a lot of people, it was pretty critically acclaimed. And yeah, I think they were kind of going in that direction. So it's a little more like what that last record's like.
Okay, yeah, I see it here on the covers. Like looks like kind of like a collage.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
Um,
It's not Metz for sure, but it's like it's interesting.
yeah.
Well, interesting. Like, I I find, I don't know if this is just my age, but I find a lot of the bands that we're coming across now on the show, I'm using that word interesting and how much more important that is to me when I listen to them now. Like, because especially when it comes to, I find Metz interesting. Like, yes, like especially like the first 2-3 records are very pummeling, and that's the easy way in for me, is just being pummeling. But how do you deviate from that without letting it go is what I found interesting about these guys. And we'll get into all the intricacies of songs and whatnot, and what I thought was neat. But let's go back to the beginning of, this is a band that's kind of been, they unwillingly or unknowingly got me through a lot of hours of GTA 5. And I never even clocked the name of the band, but they have a song on one of the radio stations on GTA 5, and that's 2 out of the last 3 episodes that I've done where this is the case. But so many nights listening to Vinewood Boulevard Radio, which that song was on, and that song Wet Blanket would get me through driving up dealing drugs in stupid UPS trucks that you have to drive over a mountain. It's ridiculous and slow, but you need the songs because if you listen to the Mission music, it'll drive you nuts. So you listen to the radio instead. And Metz had a song, as I mentioned, Wet Blanket, on that station that I listened to all the time. So they got me through hours upon hours of GTA 5 online. But what bumped them up to, my, me thinking, has this name band been put on our list yet, was they randomly showed up on John Mulaney Live, his Netflix show. And like he gets a lot of, and turns out like it was like a one-time only. As you guys mentioned, they broke up. So it's like a one-time only thing. They just came and did him a favor and played on his show. And like they started playing the song, and I'm like, holy shit, who is this band? And so I had to start looking it up, and I had to go listen to the song. And I go, John, this band Metz, they were on Mulaney last night. And I was like, didn't you put them on the board? He's like, yeah. So here we are. It just goes to show you, like, some things can kind of live in the back of your mind, and then you just kind of put the two together. So strangely enough, for a band I am just now getting into, they have plenty of nostalgia for me. So let's talk about, they don't have a, I'll say this before we get into this level. I love that there's 10 albums with 10 songs on them, so they don't overstay their welcome. But they're not married to that either. They're willing to go past that. But with that, it brings us to like, well, I think it was like 63 songs, John. So it's not an overly extensive discography, but there's some heavy hitters here. So like, as you're going through it, like, what are you looking for to bring to the table for your 20 on this one?
Yeah, just like those songs that capture that mix of like beauty and chaos that I was talking about, like where you can find the melody in the like abrasiveness and the power of it. Like that's when that's when I think Metz is at their best. And like there's a lot of songs that have that. It was tough. Like there were a few tough cuts at the very, very end. But yeah, I mean, like those first couple of records I was very, very familiar with. I kind of like, once I realized that they were not going to be the saviors of rock and roll, and that they were not going to be the biggest band in the world like I had hoped, I did kind of like trail off, and like I didn't always keep up with them as it got on through Atlas Vending and up on Gravity Hill. But going back and listening to those, they're just as good. Like there's just as much power in those and melody as some of the early stuff. So very, very consistent discography. A lot of times when a band is around for a long time, you'll see like there'll be peaks and valleys. But with a band like Metz, they were around for 10, 11 years, busted it out. Like there's that even Automat, the singles collection, very, very good stuff on there. So yeah, this it's tough when a band has a very like consistent, deep discography like this.
So, Andrew, was this because you almost immediately said, "Yeah, I can turn this around quickly." Did that feel like a foot in the mouth moment, or was it a fairly quick and easy move to get your 20?
It definitely felt like a foot in the mouth moment. I got it down to 34 pretty quick. And then it was a struggle to get it to, I think it was 25, or right around 25. And yeah, just these past few days and just day by day, I'm getting rid of one a day. I remember saying that I was ready there, I think 2 or 3 days ago. But I still had 22, and I was like, well, when it comes to crunch, if it comes down to it, I'll just, I'll pull the trigger on a couple of them, but I won't be happy about it. And it was still it was at 21 today, and up until just a couple hours ago, I'd listen to like the first 30 seconds of every song to just remind me of what each song sounded like. And I was just like, man, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to get rid of one. But I mean, I eventually did get rid of one. So I am at 20, but yes, this was the hardest one I've done yet for getting down to 20.
My first pass netted me 34. And I remember thinking, okay, that's about half. That seems about right. None of them were, I think there's maybe a few like interlude type songs. It's like, okay, thankfully that's an easy one. I don't have to take that. But for the most part, like kind of everything was in play. And then I'm like, all right, well, it's only 34. This won't be so bad. There's got to be something that I kind of let through just because I wanted to give it another spin. And I remember saying to you guys, like, as I was finishing, like, just how brutal 34 down to 20 was. Like, it was just, every single song is just like, this feels like it should be here. Oh, man, this feels like it should be here. And, ultimately I ended up keeping, hint, 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 some nostalgia plays. I ended up keeping some, there's an urgency to this band that I wanted to make sure was like well on display. Not that it's hard to find it, but I wanted to make sure that the urgency was present. You guys have mentioned the chaos and the beauty. And so like, I wanted to make sure I kind of had a little bit of all that. And it's a beautiful mess, my list, and we'll see what that amounts to. Because again, 63 songs, John. It seems like we should make short work of this, but I think it'll be agreeable. But I also don't. It could be really messy here, right? What do you think for the final say?
Yeah, I mean the math, the analytics that I've been relying on recently, and it's been working out better for me. Tell me that this is going to be, it's right down the middle, right? It's not a 45 where, the math might work out differently. It's not an 80. So I'm going to shoot right down the middle and say 5.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that seems right. It feels like there's maybe 2 or 3 like quote unquote gimmies. And then maybe we just land on 2 that we're kind of like, oh, yeah. Wow, that's the one. All right. What do you think, Andrew? John's taking the middle.
I'm going to go, I was thinking right around the middle. I'm just going to go 6.
Yeah. This feels like it could go either way for me. Like this feels like This truly feels like we could surprise ourselves and get 10, like, but equally feels like so many twos and so many like so many that was last. Oh God, I don't know, man. So do I go one up or one down? I'll go one down. This one does feel like I have a couple songs here that I could probably pick if I do win. One song specifically, if it doesn't get in, that'll be the one I go to bat for. So, okay, all right, I'm locking in on 4. I usually try to go more positive, but I feel like if I'm in play, I guess is what I'm saying. So, all right, we're gonna take a quick pause, and when we come back, we're gonna play the game. Jack gets to programmed. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The 3 of us have come through the Metz discography and plucked out 20 songs they were now going to match together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you are like me and have never given Metz the time of day. I think I have to start with the first record, and I think I have to start with the song that has lived in my head. When did I get GTA 5? 2017, which was already like God knows how late in the game. But that this song I already told you guys, it's stayed up till 3:00 in the morning playing GTA 5 with me many a nights. It's Wet Blanket.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
That was a late ad for me. I originally didn't have it, but then going back and listening to it, I was like, yeah, because I was worried about it taking too much from the first record, but that one had to be on there.
I mean, no, go ahead, Andrew. I'll tag in after you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was, like how I was saying, I had a really hard time getting down to 20, and there was like 2 or 3 that I had on the chopping block, and that was actually one of them. But then I was just like, it's Wet Blanket. I'm not getting rid of it.
I will say that this is the only specific song that I got answered. I did get some people who said all of them, and then one person said their whole first record. But the only time I got one song specifically was Wet Blanket. I'm glad it made it back on, but I also could understand because that first record feels like where we're going to collide because, I mean, it's 10 songs, the math, but like that whole first record could easily be on this list. So, all right, Wet Blanket makes it. Very happy about that. Wet Blanket is in. All right, John?
All right, I'm going to go with the first Metz song that I heard, Wasted.
Fuck me.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that that's a 2. That's one I wanted to make space for when I was coming back around. I was listening to it. It was definitely one of my first 34 for sure. It's kind of the reason you almost cut Wet Blanket. I didn't want to keep the whole first record. I'll be an easy pass on this or an easy pushover on this one if we get around. But no, I didn't have it, unfortunately. There's no reason. I just didn't have space for it. So we take the 2 there. I feel bad. I'm going to cry. And then ask Andrew which song he wants to play.
I'll stay on the first album and go with Greg, probably one of my favorite ones, if not my favorite, just because it does have a slightly different vibe. Like it's just a little bit slower tempo than the rest of the songs I find on the first album. Sad Pricks.
I so easily could have had that. I didn't.
I got it.
Good. I so easily could have had that. I mean, again, definitely on my first pass. Like, for sure, one of my 34.
It's hard to cut anything off the first album, really.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It all
it's a perfect album.
it all fits exactly what I want to send people to Metz. They all
And that
do.
minute-long noise track is really good.
It is.
Yeah, nausea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I guess maybe I can I'll venture out, even though there's still songs from the first record I have. I'll venture out. I'll venture on over to the second record. How about Nervous System?
No.
No, very late cut.
Wow. My first binner. Okay. Nervous System in the bin. John.
All right. They are a band that has amazing last tracks. And Justin, you're a first track guy. People know this as they listen to the show. I lean more towards the last track. So let's go to the last track on that second record, Kicking a Can of Worms.
Oh.
I think that's the only last track that I might not have. I'm looking at the list right now, and I think I have a few of the last tracks, but yeah, no, I don't have it. Really good song, man.
I wish I could save you. I will say yet again, not that this matters, because I will say this a lot, at least 14 times. Definitely on my first pass. Definitely a hard one to cut, and definitely agree with you that they are a great last track band. They are phenomenal at it. And especially since, like, not that their sound is the same, but like the track ones are great, but it seems to be like the same energy on each track one, and for each album. Whereas I feel like the last track is where they kind of, change it up a little bit and sometimes slow it down, but sometimes space it out. So I did like that one. Just can't save you. All that to say, no. Andrew.
All right. I got quite a few from Atlas Bending, so I'm gonna go to Atlas Bending. And I'll go with the first track, Pulse.
No.
Yes.
All right. You guys are vibing. You guys are vibing, and maybe
that song kind of, when I first heard that, like, because you're so used to Metz, like, coming right out of the gate and like slapping you across the face with like a minute and a half banger, and then Pulse comes in and it's just like that booming kick drum, and then they come in with the panic chords, and then they're smashing the snare on like the fifth beats and stuff. Like, man, it's so good. Just like reminds me of like when like Converge would get like slow and do like a sludgy or noisy type riff.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna I'll try Strange Piece this go. How about Mess of Wires?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. That is one I didn't expect. I like that. Hold on, let me cue that up and then we'll get on with it. Mess of Wires. Oh, it's a track one. Surprise, surprise. Is Strange Piece the one that they worked on with Albini, or is that the next one?
Yeah, that's one with Albini. That's third record, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one they did with Albini.
So, like, that was something I meant to say in the opening things, is like there's definitely like a shellac influence. You mentioned like sounding like industrial, like not like industrial music, but sounding like metallic, and that is something that, especially in shellac, like I think he played with like copper wires and like
even more like Big Black, like his pre-shellac band.
Yeah, that's kind of
goes more back to Big Black. Yeah.
So yeah, just
Drum Machine.
This album for sure was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I heard it from the first record, but then not even knowing that they worked with him, I was like, oh yeah. And then I looked that up before we went on. It's like, oh, okay, so they worked with him. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Quick aside, Justin, have you heard Big Black or no?
I think maybe in passing before, but I've never actually like listened. So
Okay, we gotta get them on going then.
eventually, yes.
Yeah,
Because I know I'll love it. There's no way I won't.
yeah.
All right. So Mess of Wires is in. That was me. John, you're up.
All right. I think this one's gonna has a pretty good shot. It's another last track. It's one that they used to close with live, and it is the one. It has been mentioned previously as being the one that they reunited to play, "A Boat to Drown In."
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I won't have to save that one. God bless it. I love this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites now.
I think it is mine. Now, granted, I don't have any past with them, and it was technically speaking my my introduction to them, even though I had been previously. It was the first song I heard by them that I knew was by them, and I saw them play it live, which obviously is yet another different thing. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go listen to see what this sounds like. I was like, oh, it's even more. Oh, what's the first line? It's something like, which I'm not going to reference words a lot here, but this song I am, because it keeps getting caught in my head. Watch out, or wait, something coming at midnight. Because if we don't leave now, we're not getting out alive. Like that line just like pierced my brain. I think I misquoted it, but it is something along those lines. I'm bringing up the lyrics. I don't care before we leave it. Hold on tight. We're leaving at midnight. And if we don't leave now, we're not getting out alive. That's what it is. I was close. But yeah. And then like
They had some weird, cool videos too, and that's one of the weird videos.
I bet. Like it's just, I don't know, man. Yeah. It's just, we talked about, I think this one's like a neat exploration of their sound. Like it's pretty simple in its like construction, as far as I know. He's playing on, I think it's a C, because let's see, 8th fret. Yeah, I think that's a C. And it's pretty much just that. But over that, he's got another. And then to me, so you've got all these elements. And then after an 8 count, that. Oh, yeah, it's heavenly.
And it's 7.5 minutes long.
Yes. So
it's
like
their longest song.
They punish you for like 3 minutes straight too. And it's just like that same, like the with all these like awesome stops and and then at 3 minutes it just kind of everything evaporates but the guitar, and he just kind of not even really noodles. It's just like a couple like drawn out, almost droned chords before everybody comes back in, and then he kind of takes his guitar up and over above it, and it's like kind of floaty but also noisy, and it's lovely. And look, man, I don't know that I'd necessarily say that this is a number one, but it is for sure in my contention, because it's everything about why I wanted to jump this band up the line, because it delivered live. Then I listened to it, and then the difference between listening to it in the car, listening to it in the buds, and then listening into my cans just before we went on, like it's just 3 different experiences, all of them great. So anyway, all that to say, hell yeah, it's in. Oh, that makes me happy. That was definitely the song that I was going to like bring in if I somehow won. So, I mean, there's definitely other ones, but like that was the one I was like, if that somehow doesn't get in, I gotta figure that a way to get that one in. But no need, it's in. All right, Boat to Drown In is in, and Andrew.
I'm gonna go to the second record And let's go Spit You Out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
Hey. Just like that. Little feel out period there. I mean, still plenty of play to go, but
They're so good at like creating tension.
yes.
I find like just with the chords they use and the manner in which they use them, and just going back to A Boat to Drown In, like how they just like hang on a note, and it's good. Like you don't need to play. They prove that you don't need to play a bunch of notes to sound good. You just play, and I don't know, you can just feel like how good the song is. And then they always build up that tension by like holding those notes and using like wonky chords and stuff, and then they drop down an octave and like hit like I don't know, just like a really good riff. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, that's something that Nirvana also did very well, and like those early Seattle bands like, Green River, Soundgarden, Skin Yard, that there's a lot of that in this too.
Yeah.
It is, it is great to hear like all these bands coming up that I thought, as I was listening to it, especially like Nirvana, and like the fact that they took it, you mentioned you thought they were going to save rock and roll, but they didn't. But, if we do our job, firstly, maybe we put it into ears of people who are going on to, write rock and roll songs. I know I can say for a fact that, I'm older, so I probably can't save rock and roll with my dumb band, but like, I'm already like trying to take in what I've gotten from Metz and work it into my guitar. Like, these last couple songs, especially like Boat to Drown In specifically, like I want to work that into what I'm doing on guitar somehow. And the more that happens, the more the youth gravitates towards it, and maybe they, bring it forward, and maybe they do save rock and roll in kind of a roundabout way. All that to say.
And it's like being in like a time of like where music's so, it's like fast food and it's all TikToks and this and that, not to sound like a fucking boomer, but like, you know what I mean though? It's like, it's all videos of someone like playing some crazy riff or something that, you need a degree in mathematics or something to understand. Like, and then, Metz is just so much better than all that shit. And they don't do any of the noodly shit. They just, I don't know, man, they just play hard, and it's so good.
It feels funny because this is a podcast and we try to say a lot of words, but sometimes, man, like sometimes that's all it is, Andrew, is they're just fucking good. And, like if we end up just saying they're just fucking good a lot of times today, I'm sorry that maybe you, the listener, will feel like we're being repetitive. Listen to the band and you'll understand. So,
yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was saying before we went on, Justin, is like with those first few records, it's just like I kind of forget which songs are which, like not knowing them by name, knowing them by riff, because it all rips. Like it all just rips from start to finish, every song. And you're absolutely right. Like you can only say so much about it when at the end of the day it's just really, really fucking good.
Yep. All right, Spit You Out In. We're already at my 4, which means we can easily pass my 4, which is great. John mentioned Automat. So I found myself really drawn to Automat, considering how much I enjoyed everything prior to it. I thought it was weird that I found myself further drawn into Automat. But let's dig into that, eh? How about Pure Auto?
I don't have that.
No.
Bend. Okay. I feel okay getting Bend at this point.
Their singles are real good, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about another one in just a second.
All right. John?
So after the first record came out, it might have even been like shortly after with the Loser edition on Sub Pop or something, there was a 7-inch that came with it with 2 songs on it. And I remember thinking like, man, like these songs are just as good as the stuff on the record. Like this band's amazing. And the one that really stuck with me is Dirty Shirt. So let's go with that one.
Fuck me.
I don't have it.
You know what I'm going to say.
You
know what I'm going to say. I, like you, thought both of them were excellent and, had every right to be on the first record, but also wouldn't change a thing about the first record. I didn't keep it. I may or may not have kept
it's so good.
I know. I know, man. Sorry to let you down. Andrew.
Let's go with the Swan Song on the Swan Song, Light Your Way Home.
Oh, man. No.
The only last track I didn't take. No.
Ooh. God damn.
Nothing against it at all.
Yeah.
I just didn't have room for it.
Yeah, I just like how different it is.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I don't think they have another track with acoustic guitar in it.
I'm almost positive they don't.
Right.
I could be wrong, and then like the guest vocals in it are just really like super pretty. It was just a really, really cool way for them to play themselves out.
Mm. All right. John kind of gave a spoiler. I was going to go here anyway. So I think I at least got one of you. I'm going to go back to the first record. How about Negative Space?
I don't have it.
And I, of course, do.
Yeah. That was where I knew. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, they're going to be last track guys. All right. Negative Space grabs that too. And John.
All right. How about throw out one of these deep cuts and see how that goes. How about Framed by the Comet's Tail?
No.
Late cut. Very late cut.
Okay.
I can't tell you where that fell out. No idea. All right. Andrew.
I'm going to stay on Atlas Bending and go with Blind Youth Industrial Park.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Hey. Get right off of that 4. Thank you. Pressure is off. Even though I would have been fine with picking any of these fine songs. But
Still not out of NTP, though.
that's true. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get that cued. And we're back around to me, eh? I'm scrolling through this, the big playlist, like as I'm trying to bring this song up to the top, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't have that song. I can't believe I didn't have that song. I can't believe I don't have that song. Sucks. Never have I been so close to like the songs that got dropped off. All right, what do we got here?
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
What if Black Friday deals were available in the summer? Don't miss week-long doorbusters at Best Buy during Black Friday in July. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Maybe. Come on. How about... I'll try another strange piece. How about Common Trash?
I don't have that one.
Ooh, no.
Blah. Another one to the bin. That's all right. John?
All right, let's go into our last track. How about Raw Materials?
Fuck.
No, I don't have that one.
Ooh.
You know what I'm going to say. That one was for sure.
Here we go.
For sure in the 14. I hope somebody's keeping track. Because I don't know how many times I've said that yet. All right, Andrew?
So Lost in Blank City.
Oh, fuck.
Another weird one.
That's another one that was definitely in that 14.
Yeah, that was number 21.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I was just talking about as I was scrolling past the playlist. I saw it and I was like, oh man, I don't have that one. I hope nobody else picked it.
It's one that I really like, but there was another one that edged it out.
All right. Oh man, what are we at? The 5 through unanimous, 4 twos.
Yep.
All right. And I'll try it up on Gravity. How about Wound Tight?
No, I don't have that one.
Nope.
Blah. All right. John?
All right, let's try to get back on the bus here. How about Headache?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
You know what's great is like it does the thing. I didn't lead with it because I didn't need to. There's so many Metz songs that do the thing. But like I also had to have it because it does the thing. So yeah. I love that, again. What are you getting into with this band? Well, listen to Headache and you'll know. And there you go. But that was the moment. I mean, I already knew I was going to like this band, but you never know. Like, maybe the 2 songs I had heard, were outliers and maybe they did something else. But I heard this and I was like, nope, it's exactly what I was hoping. All right. And just like that, we're at Andrew's 6. Andrew, it's your turn. Oh, and out of NTP. John's mad.
Sorry, dirty shirt.
I think I'll go with one that I think is a slam dunk. Track 1 from the second album, Acetate.
Yeah, I got it.
What'd you say? Sorry?
Acetate.
Yeah, I got it.
Hey. There we go. It is funny, like I mentioned, they're definitely last track guys, not to take away from their track ones, but because they also have really great track ones.
Yeah.
That one's a slow burn too.
Yeah. Oh man, I really love this band. I have to mention this. You were on a streak there for a while, John, where like every time you came on, it was a band that I fell in love with and want. Like this is too straight for Andrew that I've fallen in love with, and like really am
I
trying
knew this was going to be a Justin band.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This has Justin written all over it. So all right. Acetate is in, up and over. We actually have a conversation now for the twos, with still plenty of gameplay left, I believe. Let me make sure before I say that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. It's
I only got 5.
Yeah, you guys should have less than me.
I think I have 8.
Oh.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I still got 8 left.
Okay. All right. John must not have gotten binned very often.
It's happened a couple of times, but I've been with you guys mostly.
All right. So I say maybe we'll do 3 more rounds and then dump out. That sounds like a plan, I think. I'll try out another automat. How about soft whiteout?
No, I don't have it.
Nope.
Okay. Another binner. John?
All right, let's go. I only picked one off of Up on Gravity Hill, not because I didn't like it, just because there was just too much on the other ones that I had to go with. But this one really stuck out. It's No Reservations / Love Comes Crashing.
Oh, that was a late cut.
Very good. I don't know where it dropped out, but I'm pretty sure it's one of those 14. That's where it starts to get murky. I'm almost positive that was on my first pass. All right, Andrew?
Well, maybe I'll go with another one that I think is another slam dunk. I'm just going to keep saying that, and then it'll will it into existence. Yeah, off the first album, Rats.
Fuck me. No.
Oof.
No.
Oh, goddamn.
I mean, to be fair,
I don't feel great about it.
No, to be fair, you're right. That easily could have been. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
You weren't wrong. Like, it could be. It just unfortunately was not.
The problem was I already had 7 off of that record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that first record, is there's so much available. All right. How about Cellophane?
Late cut.
No.
All right. Bummer. John.
Mr. Plague.
Fuck.
No, I don't have that one.
That's the other one that I was like, God, why didn't I find room for that one? We have to be getting towards the end of my 14, because I'm 99% sure that's one of them.
This list of the trash is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I know. Brutal. That was one I felt. That may have been 21, because that may have been the one I cut and messaged you guys immediately about how brutal those last ones were. All right, Andrew.
I still got some left from Atlas Vending here, so I'll stick there. No Ceiling.
No.
No, I think I still have one left from Atlas Vending, but that is not it.
I do as well. So since we're going into our last round, I will try my Atlas Vending, try to find you, John. How about Hail Taxi?
That's it?
Yeah.
Yes! Oh! Hail Mary with the Hail
Wow.
Taxi. Yeah. Did not see that one coming. We'll take it, though. Love that. Love that.
There has to have never been a time when there's been twice as many in the 10 as there is in the conversation. We have 8 in the list and only 4 in the conversation.
It's wild. It's either in or it's in the bin. Like, no in between.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, that feels right on brand. Like when you think about the depth of this discography,
Right.
like I would have thought more twos, but honestly, like this actually, unfortunately, makes more sense. Let me get this up to the top. Hail Taxi. That's one of the ones I did not think was unanimous, though. I would have hedged bets on that being at best a 2. All right, it's in though, and John.
All right, I've only got 2 left. They're both, I believe, off the first record. So got to go with Get Off.
Yes, sir.
No, I don't have that one. I don't feel good about not having it.
Yeah, right? Right? There's a lot of that going around. All right. Andrew?
Well, this is the last round before the dump. I'm going to go with one that I really like, but it's kind of a deep cut. So I'm not too confident that it'll have another one, but the second record, Landfill.
Very good. No.
Nope.
No reason. I don't think it was on that my first pass. I think I'm finally out of of those 14.
I find myself really drawn to when they kind of like slow the tempo down a bit, but like get really like grungy, heavy, like Melvin-y with the way they riff, just like heavy single note riffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a single note. Like I think it might be overlooked at how effective a single note can be if you use it right.
Yeah, that one, like the opening, it's just like they're just beating on the toms, and then they're playing one note slowly, but like kind of bending the note a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives it that kind of like, sludgy kind of feel.
I believe it was Jack Black who said, dude, it's fucking one note. Actually, I think it was Rage Cage who said it back to Jack after he played dude, I did. I told you to put the bendy thing in there. All right, so dumping out, I'll start at the top here. Off of the Dirty Shirt single, I got Leave Me Out.
No, I don't have it.
Okay. No, I love it, but no.
Ripped on the Fence.
Don't have it.
Nope.
All right. Heaven's Gate.
Don't have it.
Nope.
Did a little bit of overthinking, I think. And then last but not least, off of Up on Gravity, Entwined, Streetlight Buzz.
I do have that.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
I'll take a 2 there.
Nope.
Yeah, that 2's all right, though. All right, so none of us are going to win. What did we end up at? 8, I think?
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Nobody's going to win, so we are going to have to work our way back to 10. But by my count, you have 1 left, John?
Correct. Knife in the Water.
Oh, fuck.
Don't have it.
Yeah.
All right. And then, Andrew, whatever you got left.
My last 3 are The Mule,
Fuck.
Drained Lake, and The Mirror.
All right. Well, a couple of the ones that were like really hard cuts did not come up. Like I had IOU as like a really hard cut for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Was the one after? The Mirror. I think I had I think The Mirror might be my true last of the 14. I think. Because I remember having that on my first pass, but it may have been like 35. Who knows? Well, fellas.
The Swimmer too. That was a late one for me. The Swimmer's great. Nobody mentioned it, but that was a late cut for me. I really thought about adding it at the last minute.
So when the numbers bear out, and I'll run over the list here in a second, but when the numbers bear out, you can see what happened. We all really love the first record because the only thing that didn't come up is the noise track Nausea. The other 9 tracks we had, so we covered the entirety of that. Everything else is kind of like, we covered a lot of Atlas Vending. Maybe half a Strange Piece, half of 2. All right, let's get to work here. The 8 that are in: Wet Blanket, Mess of Wires, A Boat to Drown In, Spit You Out, Blind Youth Industrial Park, Headache, Acetate, and Hail Taxi are in. All right, so we've got 2 spots to get 2 of these 2s. Wasted, Sad Pricks, Pulse, Negative Space, Get Off, and Entwined. How big this is all self-titled, mostly self-titled, then 1 Atlas Vending and 1 Up on Gravity Hill. How important is representation here? Because we have the 1 Up on Gravity Hill or Gravity, I keep saying, it is Gravity Hill. If we think representation is important, then we should take that, but I'm also open to not, because we only have 2 spaces.
Yeah, my thought is that we have enough Atlas Vending, as much as I like Pulse, and if we had a 3rd spot, maybe if Hail Taxi maybe hadn't gotten in, I would have fought for Pulse. But I think it's Wasted and Entwined. I think that rounds it out very nicely.
What do you think, Andrew?
Those would have been the 2 that I would have picked as well. Wasted, just because I feel like that's a 3 in spirit.
Yeah.
And Entwined, because just for both the representation and because it's different. It's unique. It's kind of a unique part of their discography. The last album was, where it's a little bit more melodic and a little less, in your face. And I think that song kind of perfectly sums up where they were at the end of their career.
Yeah, I mean, no need to argue. I mean, there's, I had even mentioned that Wasted was so close for me anyway. It may have been 21. I know it was on my first pass. When I was listening to it beforehand, I was like, why don't I have this? And funnily enough, I think maybe it's close to Wet Blanket, and Wasted is what comes up on the screen when you die in GTA 5. So whatever. That's a dumb little thing, but it is a tie-in for me. So easy pushover on that one. And, not to beat a dead horse, but Entwined, I think, rounds us out nicely. So no need to argue about it. That rounds out our 10. Let me run it down one real quick, and we will turn up the heat a little. So we got Wet Blanket, Mess of Wires, A Boat to Drown In, Spit You Out, Blind Youth Industrial Park, Headache, Acetate, Hail Taxi, Wasted, Entwined, Streetlight Buzz. Of those 10, John, which one do you think is the one?
Oh, it's easy. It's A Boat to Drown In.
Fuck yeah.
Agreed.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Oh man, it is. Do you realize how rare it is?
I could make arguments for. I could make an argument for Headache.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Just because, first track, first album, it's fucking sick. But A Boat to Drown In is their,
it's their opus, it's their masterpiece. Like that might be their best song.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a reason that they picked that song of all the songs to play on John Mulaney.
Right.
And look, man, like, it's rare that I'm that right. You know what I mean? Like, it's rare that I'm this right on a band. Not
give yourself a little bit of credit, man. Come on.
Well, what I mean is, like, not to pat myself on the back here, but like, it is rare that the song that found me, that not only everybody agrees on, but agrees to that degree. Like, it makes me feel really good, and it really speaks to the song, which I think does things on multiple levels for it, as being our number one. And I think it has the in-your-face element while still kind of getting spacey towards the end, as we mentioned before. Like, I think it does everything we want it to do. And then on top of that, it's also cool because it's 7.5 minutes long, which rules. So, yeah, I think we nailed that. And it really makes me happy to hear the unanimous consent in that there's arguments to be made for sure, but like that's the one that we're going with. So all that to say, I'm great. I figured it out. All right, let me get that queued up and then I'll run it down one last time and then we'll get on out of here. A Boat to Drown In is our number one, and I highly recommend, because you're only going to get to hear a few seconds of it on its own in a minute. I highly recommend, if nothing else, you listen to this song. But A Boat to Drown In is our number one. Wet Blanket, Mess of Wires, Spit You Out, Blind Youth Industrial Park, Headache, Acetate, Hail Taxi, Wasted, Entwined, Streetlight Buzz. Really proud of this list. We nailed this one, fellas. With that, let's let A Boat to Drown In get a moment in the sun.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Santa Fe models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Today's top story, the flavor merger of the century between the Peanut Butter Group and Chocolatey Corp. Joining me is a PBC executive.
Thanks for having me, Barry.
Now, how did you know the merger and the byproduct of it, Jif peanut butter and chocolate flavored spread, would be a success?
You know, it was a gut feeling, a rumbling, if you will. Besides, they're two titans of taste.
Very true. Goes great with pretzels.
And pancakes.
Apples too, I bet. Try Jif PBC today.
And urgent. God, I love that. I was hoping we were going to be able to get to the first breakdown part before the verse, but Spotify would kick me in the nuts for doing that. So sorry. Hey, we've done all the work for you. As mentioned, you are now a Mets fan. You're very, very welcome. And no, we're not talking about the baseball fan, because if you're a baseball fan of the Mets, as I am, I'm sorry. But I'm really happy that you're about to be a fan of Metz the band, because they rule. They are great, and you'll be happy with having them in your life, as I am. Hey, but maybe you disagree with our list. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could listen to this list and see these songs and be like, nah, man, you're wrong. Okay. Hop in the comments, though, if you're going to do that, if you disagree. If you're listening on Spotify, we can now have a comment thread. So, hey, I disagree. These are the songs I would have put in, and then I could comment back, I agree, but which songs would you take out? See? Not so easy, is it? Huh. How about that? But yeah, we can go back and forth on that. But if you're going to do that, please give the show a 5-star rating. Very much helps us get seen in the algorithm. Same thing for Apple Podcasts. If you're going to leave a review, please give 5 stars that go along with it. Would appreciate that a great deal. If you want to go a little extra mile, that would be cool. Patreon.com/ohhijustin. $1 a month gets you in the door. It gets you access to the conversation we're about to have after the fact. It gets you deprogrammed before the rest of the world. Yada, 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 other things. It also gets you access to our Discord channel, or Discord server, certain channels in our Discord server. So yeah, $1 a month gets you in there, and you can come hang out. And, we have Finding Panelist channel, where if you want to come talk about a band, you just say, hey, I'd like to talk about this band. And then maybe somebody goes, yeah, I'll do that with you. Probably John. John says yes to a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's that. We also have a Music League channel in there where we do Music League, and most weeks I don't do well, but it is fun. Like it's a way to keep points and try to beat your friends at music. It's.
Ooh, I might win this one.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't even looked at the standings. I'm pretty sure I'm doing poorly. So, we also have a channel where we're growing a tree, a channel where we're counting, which is great. John pointed out it sounds like we're in kindergarten. Maybe. There is a channel where you're not allowed to do bits. All that happens in the Legion of Stupid Discord. If all that sounds interesting, but you don't want to pay the $1 to back channel in through the Patreon, Legion of Stupid Discord, just search and you can hop in or ask me for a link and we'll get you in there and come have fun. It'll be great. Good times. Let's see, we're a podcast. Subscribing, rating, commenting, all that is super helpful. We're also on IMDb, which I mentioned a couple times recently. I don't know how we got there, but we are. I think Chris put a couple panelists in there. Just saying, we're there. I don't know if you can listen to the show from there, but we're there. And rating and commenting and all that is helpful. Sharing is helpful. But the best way you can help is by telling somebody that you listen to the show. Hey, I listen to Deprogrammed, and you should too. And that would be super helpful, and I wouldn't even be able to put into words how much I appreciate that. And with that, Metz. Learn them, love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.